Hi and good morning. Welcome to today's Walk and Talk. Again, of course, we are talking about Bitcoin, crypto, and the state of the market. Like always, I have checked the market peak AI indicators in the morning. Today, we get 52 risk score and the estimated end date of the Bitcoin cycle on November 29th. So it has shifted by 1 day, and this is related to some of the indicators that have been moving around. But I don't want to talk about the tool that we developed too much in this video. I just want to give you an update on the market. If you're interested more in how the tool works, check out yesterday's video. I made a video yesterday where I go into some of the metrics of the tool. What is happening in the market? Still, people are panicking, saying the bull market is over. As you know, still there's a lot of people writing very long blog posts why the market is over and so on. But as I mentioned many times, it's not my belief that this is true, because none of the bull market peak indicators has been hitting. Also, the sentiment is getting negative. The fear and greed index is quite nicely recovering, so to say. Also, the RSI levels on higher time frames are coming back down. These are all very nice, very good indicators or very good preparation things that happen before the next run starts, in my opinion. And you know that we probably get Fed rate cuts in the next weeks. And also this should ramp up global liquidity, and we should have a quite good run. If you look at the institutions, a lot of institutions are now coming back from the holidays. They're returning to their trading desks, and they are deciding basically if they should keep certain assets or if they should rebalance or what they should do. So it's traditionally a very uneasy or very rough or sideways or moving around period. So August, September is always very unstable. You need to be very careful. I cannot recommend to hype into the market. Don't follow any people that put a lot of money and, recommend to do, 20x leverage trades. You will get wrecked, because the market is so unstable at the moment that you can't do that. So you cannot really jump into a trade. You need to wait until there is really an uptrend. At the moment, we are going very much sideways, and it looks like every level gets liquidated, right? So as soon the longs jump into a trade, they're trying to liquidate the long positions. As soon the short positions come in, the same for that. We have talked about this in past videos, but the industry is getting more and more professional, meaning that you have all these traditional trading desks, whatever it is, Goldman Sachs or all the other trading firms that have done this for decades. They're coming now slowly into crypto, and they're using their usual playbook to mess around and get out basically, or liquidate the non-experienced crypto traders, because they are playing on a total different level and they have very different tools that they can use. Also, something interesting I want to talk about on this video is that I saw an interview with a former BlackRock employee, and he was talking about the fact that I think as soon or short after Larry Fink from BlackRock was changing positively to Bitcoin, they have actually been implementing Bitcoin into Aladdin or Aladdin. I don't know how you pronounce it really, but what that is it's an enterprise level software, so to say, that is very expensive when you want to use it. So big family offices or funds are using it. And what it does is you have all your portfolio in this. It's basically an AI tool who knows all the assets you have. And then on the basis of the knowledge, it will recommend to you what you should actually do and how you are safe, how you should hedge, and so on. And he said this is implemented now in this Aladdin or Aladdin tool. And now all of these big family offices or institutions, whoever is using it, have access to it, meaning that they can actually do everything inside of this tool. So they don't have to get out. They have connected it to Coinbase via API, I guess, and they can handle all their transactions, all their swaps, everything in the system. And this makes it, of course, much, much easier now for the industry to do it because they don't have to do anything that they are not used to. This is very nice. Also, as we have been discussing, Trump has signed an executive bill to basically get Bitcoin into 401ks. So also regular people can have now the chance to secure a little of their purchasing power. So we'll see how that goes. In my eyes, everything is ramping up very, very positively for the next run, because we also have all these new laws. We have the Stablecoin Act. We have all these legal things that have been missing for bigger players to get into the market. Also, if you have a look at the stablecoin issuers, how much stablecoins they're lately issuing, and more stablecoin issuers coming into the market, this is definitely also positive for the whole crypto market, because the more stablecoins flow into the market, the more assets, the more capital is in crypto, and the easier it will flow to other assets. So if people come in via stablecoin and they feel rich, so to say, like it always is in a peak cycle, could be traditional stock investors that also have stablecoins, and then, or they have just stablecoins, and there will be a lot of platforms where you get yield on that, so maybe they're just holding it because of that. But if their business, if their other investments are going quite well, it's very likely that they will take a look at the crypto market, and because they already have stablecoins, they will go into some assets. So this is ramping up very, very nicely. And where we are in the cycle now, still we see Bitcoin at the moment quite dominating. There's also Ethereum and Bitcoin. So if you check out the market caps, if you check out the price movements and the activity on Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's quite weak over the latest weeks. Ethereum had this all-time high, then it fell down again. Now it's a little bit of a race. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are going up, down, up, down. So we have this sideways shakeout activity. So we are basically in an unclear cycle. We will see what asset will pick up first. Probably Bitcoin will again pick up first, then probably Ethereum will overtake, and then we should basically see the altcoins or all the other coins coming in. Not all the altcoins will run. As we talked about, there's too many altcoins around. So you have to pick very wisely. You need to understand the narratives. You need to understand what are the people talking about at the moment. What is the hot thing? And even better would be, what is the next hot thing, that you understand this. if you trade meme coins, you really need to understand what is behind it. So oftentimes in a meme coin case, there is no useful thing behind it, but you have to understand the meme, or you have to understand or to know what people launched it, what is the community, how successful have they been before, what are they planning to do they have the budget to do that, and all this stuff. Like, for example, if you look at the Pingu coin and at the Pingu meme coin and at the memes and at all their fluffy things that you can buy in the supermarket, they have managed basically to onboard people because they are in Walmart and everywhere, and you can buy this plushy thing and you can scan the code, and then you can also have the NFT and all this stuff. So they have done it very uniquely and in a different way, and they are able now to market this very well because the team behind it knows a lot about marketing and they know how to talk to the community. They are very public and they did a very good job. So something like that has a very different fundamental structure. So this is not like some meme coin blown out of the water and it's just luck or not, right? So you need to understand. You should never actually understand in something that you don't understand. So you should never invest in something you don't understand. I mean, you can decide to trust somebody, a friend or some influencer telling you, and maybe if you listen a lot to crypto advice, you watch a lot of YouTube videos, you read a lot, then it often is very clear because there's one narrative, one coin, a couple of coins that everybody has on his radar. So sometimes that happens for me if I watch a lot of the content, of course, to be up to date. So sometimes I recognize that suddenly everybody starts about the same, right? So it was back then in some years ago, not that long ago, but I guess it's 1.5 years or something like that. So everybody started to talk about SUI, right? All the bigger players started to talk about SUI. And then you hear it here, you hear it there. Then I was researching the project. I bought into it also with INA. The best thing is the influencers, or what are actually the influencers specialized in. What I mean by that, you could take, for example, Arthur Hayes, who is the founder of BitMEX, who basically invented the perpetual trading. And he was actually one of the founder of the idea of ENA, the ENA token. So this new stablecoin backed by, they not this new, what is it? They have a stablecoin, but you can also use it on exchanges. And Arthur Hayes was one of the developers because he didn't develop it. He was the founder of the idea. I don't know how you call it in English. So, and then some, I think, Italian guy, he took his idea and he made the product, INA, basically, right? So when he's talking about the project, for me, I understand that he knows what he's talking about. So for me, that has got much more value. The same is if somebody is talking about an exchange, or somebody like Matt Hogan from Bitwise talking about ETFs or ETF inflows or traditional investors or big money movements, then I know that he knows what he's talking about because it's his industry. So what I wanted to say with all of that is pick the influencers that are into the industry, and then look what coins are they talking about, because it doesn't make any sense if somebody talks about a coin and doesn't have the background. So This is quite important. So not all of the altcoins, of course, will run in the next market. Unfortunately, there are very varied projects. So there's a lot of projects. I also have them in my portfolio that have been very hot, but the founder disappeared, or I don't know, the project is not really active anymore, or it even was a scam, or they gave up, or they pivoted to something else. The question is, what should you do now, right? What you could do is you could decide to sell this now and buy into something else, or just cash out what is left. But in my opinion, this does not really make any sense when you're down very much already. I'm talking about the fact that some of my coins are down 99 or 95%. So in this case, does it really make any difference if I, sell the 1 or the 5%? For me, it doesn't make sense. So what I do is I wait until the next run is starting. I try to get as close as possible to the peak, and then hopefully some of these assets are joining the run. It's very likely that if the market really starts to run very crazy, that even these sleeper coins or these old projects are going to start to run. So this is my strategy. And if sometimes you're lucky, you know what I mean? So sometimes you have a coin that was sleeping for many, many years, and then it goes up. So for example, I had still some PIF network coins that have been down. I think before the US government decided to use the PIF network together with Chainlink, I think it was down in my portfolio around 80 or 87%. And now it went up quite a lot, but it's not even at the price where I bought it, even after this crazy run that the coin did, right? So sometimes you are lucky with that. The thing is now you have to decide when you sell, right? So you have to have very clear guidelines for yourself. When do you sell? When do you buy? I have done some videos about that. If you have a look in my channel, and you will find some advice, some indicators. So one of the things you could do, I'm focusing on very simple things. I'm not focusing on very complicated things, right? So one of the things you could do is you just take the fear and greed index, you have a look at it, and you come up with your own idea what a good level would be to sell. We're talking about the selling now because we are going to the end of the cycle. A good level, but check it out for yourself, because you will find fear and greed index indicators or websites that will show you actually the history of the fear and greed index. You go to the history and you come up with yourself with a number. So in our case, we're using 81, where the 81 is the level for some fear and greed indexes, the extreme greed starts. So we have done some calculations, and we have calculated that usually after 7 days, the fear and greed stays in extreme greed. It's most of the time a good time, very good sentence, to sell. But go there yourself and check out what is going on. So this could be something that you could use. Also, if you want to buy, you want to wait for extreme fear, then you can buy. There's other metrics. You could use something like a pi cycle indicator. You could use something like a rainbow chart. And there's a lot of stuff out there. And because it's so complicated to look at all these indicators, and every indicator is giving you a different number, and you need to open 27 websites to have the indicators. This is why, for our internal purposes, actually, we developed Market Peak AI. So we are gathering all these factors that we have talked about. So we're gathering 32 indicators, and we actually also pull in M2 money supply. We pull in, what else? We pull in social sentiment, so XBuzz. We pull in Google search trends and so on. And then what we do is we take all these indicators. We have a mathematical formula that understands which indicators are more important or more valid in calculating the market top. And then we calculate one nice risk number out of that. This risk number, like I told you in the beginning of the video, is 52 at the moment. And according to this risk number and according to this overall state of the market, we are also trying to estimate a date. So this date will tell you when actually the Bitcoin bull market is most likely to top. This date is at the moment the 29th of November. It's very hard to logically come up with an idea about that, but if you follow a lot of people, if you follow more positive people, not the bears, you will see that this matches quite well with a lot of opinions. So a lot of people are confirming that for them the bull market cannot be over, and it will take some time basically to go to the top of the bull market. We can't go there like in 2-3 weeks, right? We have to start to climb and then top up. So it's very hard to estimate if this could be true or not, but it's not important because every time the risk score is changing, let's say the risk score will go to 55, then the date will actually come down. And the whole goal of the system is to estimate it with a 7-day precision, meaning that the formula is structured in a way that we should be able to alert you 7 days before the peak is in. We will see. So we've done a lot of backtesting and we have seen it working in the last cycle, but it's always, it's very hard to predict, right, what is going on. So you can also use Market PKI. We have a free version, like I said. It's delayed by 7 days, but don't worry too much about it. You can always upgrade and see the live data. The live data is for most indicators every 10 minutes. And you also get alerts via the Pro version. So basically you will get alerted if some indicator triggers or if some level is reached. You can set it up yourself. So this was everything for today. I hope this video was useful for you. You could take out some knowledge. It could help you in any way. If this is the case, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you have questions, put them in the comments. And if you have some recommendations, some coins you want to talk about, some topics you're interested in, please also let me know in the comments. Take care, have a nice day, and I see you. Bye-bye.